Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Julia for anybody that's new here. I like to talk about anything lifestyle, finance. I have a Depop shop I like to run, so hopefully I can make some videos about that in the future. But with that, today I kind of wanted to do a video where I go over my spending from the month of August of this year. And this is going to be interesting for the both of us because I have not tallied up how much I've spent this last month, how much has come in this last month. So, with that, I'm going to be learning this with the rest of you. I think this is really going to be interesting because for anybody that doesn't know, I just started my first big girl job out of college in July, and I got my first paycheck at the end of July, and I have some pretty big finance goals that I really want to accomplish for this year and for kind of like my life in general. If you have any questions or like want to know more about that, I have some videos up on my channel, and I'll try to like put them, I don't know which side it goes on, but I'll try and link them to this video so that you can watch that. But yeah, so I have a goal of saving roughly $1,500 to $1,750 depending on how much I have in my account for that month. And I think right now I'm really just trying to solidify my budget. I don't really know exactly, how much I need, for groceries every month, or there's just some things that I need to kind of lock down because this is the first time that I've had to make a legitimate budget, and so kind of learning how much that I spend every month is going to be very helpful. And it's also going to help me kind of cut down on some of the spending that I don't realize I'm doing so much of. I don't know. I have no idea how much I've spent. So I think what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go ahead and look through my bank, and I'm going to kind of categorize everything into, bills that I have, maybe subscriptions, miscellaneous like discretionary spending, maybe eating out, and stuff that went to my savings. I'm also going to tally up everything that came into my account. So this is going to be very interesting. I'm going to go ahead and go do that, and I'll be right back.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I just went through all of my spending, and I have the numbers. So, total that came in for the month of August was $4,033.94. Now, the total that went out was $4,098.23, which means that I was over the total that came in by $64.29. And that is simply because I had extra money in my checking from the previous month. But that is not a great habit. It's not a great habit to fall back on. So this is definitely very eye-opening for me, but let's go ahead and break down those numbers a little bit more. So, starting with the money that came in, I had this separated into 3 separate categories. So my first was my payroll, that's from my job. My second is from Venmo, and this is like if I'm out with friends and I buy something and they pay me back. That's what that was. And my third was the money that I made from Depop for the month. I will say this was a bit of a slower month for Depop for sure. I definitely didn't put as much into it as I did in the previous months. So my total for payroll was $3,830.70. My total for Venmo was $73. And my total for Depop was $130.24. So that brought me to my total of $4,033.94. Okay, so let's go on to the next category. All right, let's break down my spending a little bit more so we have a better understanding of what exactly went on here. So I did break down my spending into a bunch of different categories. So I'll go ahead and say those now. So my first category was bills, and this is obviously my rent, my water, my Wi-Fi, electricity, anything like that. And that came out to 1,513 and 53 cents. So, my next category was eating out, so any restaurants, stuff like that, and that category was $66.24. My next category was my groceries. And for my groceries, I got $223.61. My next category was gas, and that came out to $101.27. My next was miscellaneous, and this is the one that really got me. So in this month, I did end up having to buy, I didn't have to buy, I will put that out there. I did end up buying 2 new pairs of pants for work from Abercrombie, and this cost me $119.08. So I think that kind of contributed to the overall amount. And then on top of that, I went to a concert this month. I saw Men I Trust, or anybody who knows them. It was amazing. But that definitely added on. And that came out to $46.85 for that ticket. And I also had to pay for parking and stuff when I got there. So my total for miscellaneous for the month of August was $592.51. And that is literally anything that you can think of that doesn't fall into any of the categories that I've listed or that I'm about to list. So that is definitely eye-opening for me. I didn't realize that I was spending so much on random stuff that I probably don't need. So I will keep that in mind in the future, for sure. My next category was coffee. That is a weakness of mine. I love coffee. I drink coffee every single day, and I make coffee at home every single day. I'll let me preface with that. But on occasion, I do like to, go out with a friend, get a cup of coffee, and, just talk about how life's going, stuff like that. I think I just really enjoy going to coffee shops with people and catching up. So my total for the month of August for coffee was $66.02. I would like to see that number lower in the future for sure. I think, like I said, this is something that I really enjoy about my routine. So I could see myself, giving myself some room in there to enjoy that. But I think 66 might be a little too high for me right now, especially with the savings goals that I have. So I think I might want to cap that at 50 this next month, this September. So check in on my next spending review, and we'll see if that I follow through on that. My next category were subscriptions, and I only have 2 subscriptions. The first is Spotify, and that was $6.48. And the second is Amazon Prime, which was $8.11. Now, I don't need either of those. I really enjoy music, so I will for sure justify Spotify. Amazon, I think, was very beneficial for me, especially when I was moving in, if I needed anything, having free shipping, stuff like that. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but if I don't end up utilizing this as much as I should to justify that cost, because I believe for the purchases that I had made with Amazon Prime, I had saved $41 or something like that. So this is for sure worth it for me in that sense. But we'll see what it's like going forward. I might not keep that, but like I said, we'll just have to wait and see. My next category was money that I had spent, sourcing clothes for my Depop. And for the month of August, it was only at $20.46. So I would say that kind of worked out for me there. I spent $20 and I got $130 back. So I'm okay with that. That's pretty good. And my last category was my savings category. And this isn't spending, but it is coming out of my account, and so I'm going to treat it as though I don't have it. I don't have it anymore. And I saved $1,500 in the month of August. So, like I said, that brings me to a total spent of $4,098.23. And like I said, I was over this month by $64.29, but I'm really going to try and tighten up my budget a little bit. I didn't realize that I had spent so much on miscellaneous items, and I think that's kind of bringing, the importance of budgets to my attention, because I talk about having these savings goals, but if I have no plan in place or way to hold myself accountable and to see if I'm actually following through on this, then what's the point? I really want to zone in on my goals and make sure that I'm doing everything I possibly can to achieve those goals. And so I think this is going to be the first of many spending reviews that I do on this channel, just because first of all, I like to keep it transparent here, and second of all, it's really eye-opening for me as well, because I feel like a lot of people don't take the time to go through every single debit or credit on their account. They don't take the time to say, how much did I spend on eating out this month? How much went to subscriptions, miscellaneous spending, my bills? How much came in? And so I think this was very beneficial for me. I hope that you can take something from this and, maybe implement this into your life as well, just to see if you're on track to meet your savings goals. But with that, I will say I am starting my September goals off right, I think. We'll see how the rest of the month goes, and we'll see how my spending review goes. But so far, I've put into my savings already, so I'm looking forward to making improvements on this and seeing what the future brings. Like I said, if you found this interesting, make sure you go ahead and subscribe, like the video, comment down below. Also, if anybody has any suggestions about any apps or any way to track, if there's like some type of app that automatically categorizes your spending, that would be so great. Because I had to manually do this. I know there's apps out there for sure, but I just I don't have one. So if you have any recommendations, go ahead and leave that in my comments. And with that, I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.